Hi, this week I've made quite a progress and I want to show you what I've done. For starters, I have everything painted on the model. Let's go over each different part individually and let's start with the body. I've painted a different layer on top of what I had previously. I actually painted two layers. So what I had 1 week ago was this. I didn't like how the colors went from dark to light so quickly. So I painted them over and made everything more smooth. And of course, I went over and painted in smaller details for the hands and for the fingers. I did nails as well, and I can change their color here because as it stands now, I'm not quite sure what color I want them to be. I don't want them to stand out, so a color something like this would work for now. If I want to change the color, I can do it later. As for the face, 1 week ago it looked like this, and I think it was the worst part of everything I painted before. So I repainted it like this, but I didn't quite like it yet either. But after a little bit of more work, I think this version is the best. But I'm still not 100% on the lips. For now, they are a different color. Like here, in my opinion, lip should be a different color than the body. So I added another layer only for the lips for a color and just replacing the information of a color, and the purple landed something like here. Of course I can play with it, make it darker so it's less different, a little bit more darker, or make it lighter, but this is just too much purple. I just want a slight change for the lips. I'll see, play around with the colors a little bit more and then show you later on what I've got. Oh, also, for the face, I actually changed the shape of the chin a little bit more. Previously, it was sticking out a little bit more, and for me, and actually my friend advised that I should make it smaller, and changing it made a small difference in the shape of the face, and I think it works a little bit better than what I had before. For the hair, I believe last week I I haven't got all of the hair yet, so now you can see where I'm currently. I think it's done. I like what I have, and I don't really want to change anything. Last week I had concerns for the different style of the brush that I used, but right now, when looking from this distance, I really don't have any problems with how the model looks. For the hair, don't mind that I'm missing one of the ponytails. I have re-imported this model a few times because I had messed up UVs, and I finally fixed the UV for the lip. I moved it more towards inside of the mouth, and right now there is no seam here. Then I actually painted the shirt, and this layer depicts what I've changed. I believe the shirt looks better now. I've made slight changes, added more dark and light colors, and I believe the back looked the worst. And after a change, it is smoother and it looks more like a shirt than before. Then I fixed the belt. I haven't done much on it. I just painted where it looked weird from the UV changes. And I haven't changed anything for the metal part of the belt. From a distance, it doesn't look weird at all. For the pants, I did two different changes. First one being the gradient, and I think this one looks way better than what I had before. And second is repaint everything. Beforehand, I had this version and I didn't like it. And of course, it was only different coloring, so it looked even worse. After that, I just repainted everything and I like this one way more than the previous one. Moving down, we have the leg texture, which I made the lines more consistent than before because they were wonky and not equal, and just made them two colors and a little bit darker here and here, also behind the leg. Then I've repainted the shoe, the leather shoe. Beforehand, I had something like this. It wasn't bad, but it was painted in a different way than how I'm painting right now. So I wanted to redo it. I also fixed the UV issue here. Currently what I have is this. From the distance I really like the fold effect here and the highlights here. I used the same color palette and did the leather part on this shoe and painted in the folds here, and they turned out quite well. Then I did the leather part here with a gray color here and a plastic thing here made black. And then moved on to the metal parts. First I did the shoe. At first I made everything kind of brown to represent trust, but this is the thing that I'm conflicted in. Can't quite make it look like that with rusty colors, and making the gray color here to be a metal. With height differences, this would definitely look better in my opinion, but since this is kind of a painterly design, I don't have the luxury to do that, and this is the biggest issue that I'm having right now is the metal. Like I painted the different pieces separately because they are only separate pieces and different UVs. Of course, I could combine everything into a one UV, but then it would be difficult for me to get areas like here, and I think having everything on a separate layer here is pretty good decision on my part. Then I did similar color to this shoe. I didn't want them to be exact same because this should be different, since this is a part of a shoe and this is just something that is strapped on to metal, and that's why they are slightly different, not only the color but actually the height than when I modeled them. I did the arm as well. It's just the same process as for the body, but the gradient looks quite different here. Usually it is same color, but for the metal I wanted to have rust colors as well as the bare metal colors. So I've made an interesting gradient in my opinion. So yeah, everything I've painted by hand. Maybe it is not done yet. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I need to paint some parts on to make them more bare than others. I mean by that just use the bluish colors like here and put on the edges. One here, here, to make this look more interesting. But other than that, I'm not quite sure what else I should do. To me, it doesn't look the best, but it is passable in my opinion. And now moving on to the last part is the gold parts, which actually turned out really well in my opinion. I've made a few different designs. So I have a few different textures for different angles, the parts. And of course I could make more of them, but as of right now, I have, I think, 80 different designs and I can just make more if I need later. Same goes for the golden chain, but I've made less designs. So this is the original that I had, and then I copied it and made different variations where the light hits, and this way I can just, as for the golden bracelet here, I can change in Maya which texture I want to apply on which chain, and that way it's not too repetitive. In my opinion, I need this mostly on this bracelet here because right now everything looks the same, but if I look at this golden chain, it doesn't look too similar because the angles are changed. The models themselves are rotated, so it doesn't look quite the same all way around. I also did the eyebrows and eyelashes, and this made quite a big difference then because previously it was just the checkerboard texture, and I think that made the model look quite weird. And when I added the colors, I started liking the model even more. And the last golden part is the earrings. I made them different from one another. It's not necessary, but nice to have. And yeah, that's where I am currently. I made the shoelaces here as well, lighter on the top, darken on the bottom. I also fixed the issue here. Previously, these parts were not disconnected from the main body and they were colored weirdly. So fixing that made a huge difference. It made it way easier to color the shoe. I also have these orange socks. I had to re-import this one because the texture names were different. For the pants, I also did the ripped parts and we are quite simple, just gray color, and that's it. So this is where I am now with the model. I just need to rotate this UV, need to figure out the color for the lips, maybe paint it a little bit more. I noticed that I have these lines here. I also need to paint these scars on the body. I think there are three of them, one on the leg, one on the belly, and one on the arm. And then also figure out if this color is alright for my nails and copy the here to the other side as well. And then I actually completely forgot that I need to do an axe with the metal chain that my reference has. I already have the model, but I still need to do the texture for it. It shouldn't be hard to do, but it still will take some time to do. And then for the next week, the model texture should be completed. This month I want it to be done with the textures completely. When I will be finished, I will move on straight to rigging. I don't need to do a great rig because I want to make just a few poses, render them, and actually be done with this project and move on to other things that I want to do. Yeah, I don't want to say too much right now because I still need to finish what I have here. Hopefully, for the next week, you will see a rigged model. If I don't have enough time, it won't be done. And you just need to know that I'm not a rigger. I've done that before, but that's not I'm specialized in, and that can take some time to do. This is a great progress that I've done this week, and I'm happy about that. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.